By the way, I just heard literally coming out, and Mitch is a friend, as you know, not a joke. We always, I know people don't believe that's the case, but we have disagreements politically, but he's a good friend, and so I'm going to try to get in touch with him later this afternoon. I don't know enough to know.
So that was President Biden there reacting to the news of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell once again freezing at a press conference. This is the second time, this one yesterday. Again, the second time McConnell has frozen in a public appearance in 2 months.
Dr. Frank Contessessa is an internist at Custom Care Medical, and he joins us now. Sir, welcome back to National Report. We understand you are not the senator's personal doctor, but when you're watching these moments play out, how are you reading what could be happening?
Well, good morning, Sean and Emma, and thanks for having me. And yes, you're right. Of course, I have not examined him, and I don't know his medical history, but I can observe, and I can tell you what I observed. So this is the second time this has happened, and both episodes look very similar to me. His staff say that he got lightheaded. It isn't what it looks like to me. Usually when you get lightheaded, you get shaky, you get wobbly, you might have to sit down, you might even fall down. This looked to me more like something, either a TIA, which is a mini stroke, transient ischemic attack, or maybe something like a petit mal seizure, which is different from something like a grand mal seizure, which is the gross shaking that you often imagine when you say the word seizure. Petit mal seizure is you kind of zone out for a short period of time, and then you kind of tune back in. That's what it looks more like to me. I can only hope that after the first episode that he had a full neurological workup, including brain imaging. We don't know if that's happened. We should know if that's happened. I think as a public figure, we should know what's going on with the health of these people who are responsible for making the big decisions for us.
It's very concerning to watch, and as you just mentioned, it is not the first time this happened to the minority leader. The senator freezing at a presser, this in Washington last month, almost 30 seconds. This is that moment. When it happened. This is the first time. Now, remember, McConnell fell and it hit his head during a fundraiser earlier this year, causing a concussion. Again, this reported by his representation. Could this possibly have anything to do with what we're seeing with McConnell? In your, again, medical analysis, as watching and, again, hearing the reports?
It's possible, Sean. You know, the post-concussive syndrome has a lot of varied symptoms. It's possible that it could have affected a part of his brain that could be causing something like a petit mal seizure. Post-concussive syndrome in and of itself can cause things like this, but it's not the most common. Usually post-concussive syndrome is headaches, brain fog, difficulty concentrating. You don't typically see these acute episodes where you really zone out and lose focus and need help to just continue. So it's possible, but I think that's less likely.
And again, as we know, any politician could experience some sort of health-related incident throughout the term they serve. Whether it's 2 years or 6 years, something could happen to you, regardless of your age. But we are seeing this occur more commonly with our leaders who tend to be on the older side, including Senator Dianne Feinstein. She was recently in the hospital, again, suffering with a really intense case of shingles. President Biden, we've seen him appear less stable. Of course, he's tripped and fallen, whether it was up the stairs on Air Force One or on the stage at the Air Force Academy, recently appearing to sort of doze off while attending this Maui wildfire sort of dining experience here. What's your read on this, sir, and really if we can determine whether or not these folks are able to serve in their fullest capacities?
Well, you know, Emma, this is hard to watch, both as a physician, but also as a citizen. And I think, you know, these people are in charge of making big decisions for us. And I'm in favor of a competency test above a certain age. You know, we see that with airline pilots. We see it in a lot of occupations where you're responsible for other people. There's a competency test above or mandatory retirement above a certain age. So as a citizen as well, it's tough to watch. I remember the Dianne Feinstein episode. She was voting on an important measure, and she had no idea what was going on. And an aide came up and said, just vote yes, please. You know, who's making the decisions, Senator Feinstein or the staffer? So again, as a physician, it's hard to watch, but as a citizen, it's hard to watch too. And it's not an age thing, Emma. You know, I have a lot of older patients in my practice, I have 85-year-olds who I would trust to run a major corporation or to make decisions like this. And I have 60-year-olds who should be in a nursing home. So it's really not specifically about absolute age. It's about competency and ability.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You never know what you could experience in a health-related incident. And again, that could happen at any age. We've just sort of kept an eye on this trend, unfortunately. Dr. Frank Contessessa, thanks for joining us today, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you both.
You're welcome.